This weekend is the 100th anniversary of the Indianapolis 500, and the entire city goes into high speed for the greatest spectacle in racing. From downtown parades and festivals to Community Day at the track, the rich history and traditions of the Brickyard permeate the town. Certainly, one of the most memorable sights preceding race day this year had to have been the authentic Indy race car driving through the streets of downtown Indianapolis. In a campaign to promote the Cody Unser First Step Foundation, Dean Laux, owner of the Art of Design Custom Design and Paint Studios, drove his Italian-built Dallara from his home base in Elkhart to the Conrad Hotel in downtown Indianapolis, where his fine art on canvas works are on display.
I wanted something a little edgy, classy, sporty, racy, of course, something that wouldn't normally be on a race car. People would look at it and they'd think, wow, is that going to be on the Indy 500? But they wouldn't know why it looked so sporty and classy. It was Eddie Cheever's backup car for 2000. It wasn't anything like what it looks now. We put 1,000 hours in the car just in body work and paint work to make it look this way. This car was painted with Axel Nobel, Dean Laux Signature Series colors. They came to me a few years ago to develop 769 new colors. We probably got 12 of them on here to make the car look the way it looks. The IndyCar promotes and gets people's attention. It gives them a second to look at the fine arts that we're doing. And the fine arts is something that people don't realize. The artwork on the boats, the motorcycles, the helicopters as being artwork, then at least we can make a name for ourselves with our new style of painting on the fine art canvas.
From the Conrad Hotel, it was off to the Speedway in a style that most commuters would find, well, unusual. Arriving at the Speedway, the sight of an Indy race car in the same entrance line as the fans brought astonished stares and questions about his qualifying position. But it was just an opportunity for Laux to take a quick lap and introduce the car once again to the venerable Brickyard and its past days of glory. At the end of the day, the excitement of the track gave way to Dean's passion for his art and his dedication for helping others as the team prepared for the Foundation's fundraiser and a Laux original to be donated to the cause.
And I'm thinking the other Geico car could be sitting up. I was asked by a gallery to come up with some paintings for them, and the first thing I thought of is, well, maybe I'll do it in oils or use a traditional brush to do it. And I played around with it. It didn't settle well. It just didn't work out. So then I moved to chalks. I like chalks. I like how fast quick I can use it. How good and vibrant the colors go down. It still wasn't my style. So I thought about the technique that I wanted to use, and it really took several months of having the time to develop it and think about it. It's kind of like a song and a style of a song. I think about these all being hits, each painting I do being a single that came to #1. But the idea behind it was that I didn't want to make a painting that I applied to color. I want the style to be about the removal of the color. So I came up with a technique to apply the color. I'll squirt it on. I'll apply it with a full-size paint gun. I'll apply it with an airbrush. But all the texture that we get throughout the painting, and you've got texture that just kind of the colors melt together, and you've got textures that are splatters. different textures here. Some are running a certain direction, so the board gets turned. It's about the removal of the color and how the color comes off the canvas that makes it unique and different. You can see here the bright thin lines are done with a razor blade, scraping. I can get some of the circles, I can get some of these jaggedness here. The texture in small areas is done by fast reducers, slow reducers, things I've developed here over time, and it lets colors melt together in a neat way that I couldn't do if I was just applying it. So in the end, I've taken a full-size paint gun, an airbrush, and a razor blade and tried to make a piece of artwork that could never be duplicated any other way, but it's my own way. The vibrancy of these colors in my paintings all come from the Signature Series line from Axel Nobel. Without these paints, I would not be able to duplicate or even paint these paintings to begin with. With my conventional way of painting for years, I just wasn't happy with trying to make something look realistic. I want it to look realistic, but the flip side of being realistic, I'm just never happy when I'm done with it. Initially, when you first see the painting, it gives you a feeling of a certain day, a certain time and place, and then as you look closer into the painting, you really start to see what makes the painting up. The drips, the runs, the splatters, they're all meant to be there. All the highlights, you get a highlight over here around the front of the car and up on the windshield where it really looks like the sun's hitting it, is all from the razor blades. The process is about removing the paint. It's about taking it off and leaving the highlights. You apply it so many different ways, but it's about taking it off and letting the depth come back at you from the highlights. I could do two of the same car and they come out totally different feelings.